5 years ago, the Department of Education found itself facing a distressing reality. Statistics showed very little improvement in dropout rates and retention rates. And in spite of the implementation of many successful projects in basic education, the quality of education remains a system-wide issue. The governance and the deliverance of basic education, the essence of DepEd's existence, was on a decline.
The Education for All Mid-Decade Assessment Report 2005, as well as the Progress Report on Millennium Development Goals in 2007, it was cited that the country is lagging behind in achieving the targets of universal access to primary education as measured by net enrollment rate, completion rate, and cohort survival rates. Although for the last 3 years, DepEd has improved the academic performance of our learners in terms of the National Achievement Test. There was an improvement in the internal efficiency of the system as reflected in the increasing completion rates and the decreasing dropout rates. However, these improvements are modest because of slow pace of progress if the gains will not be supported and reinforced by systemic reforms. We also rank in the lowest 10% among the participating countries in the Trends in International Mathematics and Science study of 2003. As such, to realize the attainment of EPA and MDG targets, as well as the quality aspect of basic education, systemic reform should be reinforced, and we need really to push for the basic education sector reform agenda.
It was in this context that the Basic Education Sector Reform Agenda, or BESRA, was born. BESRA is a suite of policy reforms that sought to improve critical regulatory and institutional conditions affecting the quality of basic education. The expectation then was to create significant changes necessary to further accelerate, broaden, deepen, and sustain the improved education effort.
DepEd as an organization is now working in the 21st century. Our times calls for openness and collaboration. We are now encouraged to utilize resources better, to maximize tools so that we can think better of ourselves. The days when decision making was contained within a few people are numbered, if not gone. These were a few of the reasons that drove the implementation of BESRA and consequently the STRIVE program.
Within the same time period in 2005, strengthening implementation of basic education in the Visayas, or STRIVE, was jointly launched by the Department of Education and AusAid. STRIVE is a development cooperation program designed to support the Philippine education sector to improve access to quality basic education in selected provinces in the Visayas. Implemented in 2 phases, STRIVE shifted its approach in development work from the project perspective in Stage 1 to a program approach in Stage 2.
Before Stage 1 of Project STRIVE ended, we did a study for Stage 2 to align the design of this stage to the basic education reform agenda of the Department of Education, or the national reform agenda of DepEd, and considering also the Basic Education Governance Act, which is RA 9155. We found 2 fundamental factors for change. First is the need to empower the schools and the communities to take responsibility for basic education delivery. The second factor is the changed role of the 17 regions of DepEd in providing quality assurance for divisions and schools while relinquishing their previous line management functions in the delivery of education. STRIVE Stage 2 was the response to these developments.
Guided by the principles of flexibility, continuity, system strengthening, and sustainability, STRIVE took on the task of providing assistance for institutional strengthening and capacity building, and performed this in the context of rationalizing existing infrastructures to provide systematic education support. Strive focused on strengthening education systems on the critical areas of learning resource management and development, training and delivery of professional development, and education governance support for school-based management, all entrenched on with quality assurance and access or equity themes. It enhanced critical education structures and systems to retrofit an environment where integrated systems work together for efficient delivery and governance of basic education.
As the Division Coordinator for School-Based Management, I saw an improvement in quality assurance within the institution in the last year. There are support systems, partnership mechanisms, personnel, and management programs, and a platform to access knowledge and information. For instance, school data will now be accessed through the web at the division and the regional level through the Unified Information System.
I am Mrs. Alejandra Nagumbay, the Training and Development Chair in Region 8. Being the T&D Chair in the region, I am very happy that Project Strive supports the Care Reform Trust of BESRA. One of these supports is the development of the training and development systems, wherein Training and Development Information System is one of its systems. TDIS is responsible in collecting and processing data, as well as creating databases required for the analysis of results generated by the system. TDIS maintains and generates reports, just like training evaluation reports, the program management, the trainees, the trainers, as well as other training documents. Training and Development Information System provides access on training and development materials or documents, just like professional development plans, program designs. The implementation of the training and development system is of great success, and its sustainability as well.
While expectations were primarily on producing support systems that are integrated and synchronized, Strive also performed systems development work alongside the application of progressive strategies to manage change and risks for sustainability. Education leaders from the Visayas overextended implementation role to performing responsibilities of a change agent, engaging stakeholders from the school community level to the BESRA Technical Working Group as advocates and key players of reform. Strive nurtured champions and agents of reform to work together as vanguards of change. It built on the strengths of what has been learned and made by people who came before it to create a well-grounded laboratory for change. The 5-year collaborative development undertaken by DepEd and AusAid in the implementation of Strive strengthened the platform for education transformation. As aptly described in the independent progress review conducted in 2009 on Strive, it is rare to encounter an initiative which represents the right response at the right time using the right approach. Strive is such an initiative. It is not only consistent with GOP and GOA policies, but as was intended, it is the vanguard for change in the education sector in the Philippines.
Strive. Strive for me is the vehicle to implement the intention of the basic education sector reform agenda. It's a trailblazing project. It basically looks at the soul of the entire DepEd operation. My role in Strive, the one who is part of a group who conceptualized Strive. Well, the long-term benefit would be we are inching towards today when the department will no longer be seen as just an ordinary agency, but an agency that will transform not only the basic sector, basic education sector, but also the entire society.